Good afternoon, and you're welcome to another edition of your favorite sanitation program, Wash Hour. Now, a flood of plastic waste has hit West Africa hard, and indeed the world too. 8 million tons of plastic waste leaks into the ocean each year. It is estimated that by 2050, there will be more plastics than fish in the ocean if urgent steps are not taken. Now, did you know that 2 million plastic bags are used every minute worldwide? Did you also know that in Ghana, about 1.1 million tons of plastic waste, which includes those you use at home, is generated each year? Now, have you thought or wondered where these end up? Well, a great chunk of that gets into our water bodies, destroying aquatic life, or into the environment, choking gutters and causing floods and destroying the environment. Now, how should we deal or tackle this challenge? A number of young people have begun innovations that are reducing the quantum of plastic waste in the environment and providing jobs. On today's edition of Wash Hour, we are going to hear from two of such innovators and what they are doing with the plastic waste. They are Cordy Aziz Nash, Executive Director, Environment 360, and Mr. Nelson Boateng, Managing Director and CEO of Nelplast Ghana. Listen on our social media platforms on Facebook at GBC Ghana, YouTube at the GBC Ghana, and on Twitter at GBC Ghana, and also on WhatsApp as well on 055-744-6429. On WhatsApp, send us your messages on 055-744-6429. My guests, welcome to my studios.
Thank you.
So I'm looking at the innovations that you are making. I'll first start with Nelson. You're constructing buildings with the plastic. In fact, how did you come up with this idea?
Okay, so Nelplast started as a pelletizing company, where those times were just pelletizing pure water sachet. Then we sell them to, I think, June 3rd, where we had the disaster at Circle. You know, the government was trying to put a ban on plastic bag manufacturers. And me being in the plastic industry for more than 20 years, I have to find a way to keep myself moving. And most at times they shift the blames to the bag, choking gutters. So I have to come up with an innovation which will not pollute the environment, but save the environment. So that's how we come up with this.
So you collect the plastic pure water sachet and then you process them?
Okay, so with the new innovation that we are into, we don't depend on one type of plastics. We depend on all kinds of plastics, with the exception of PVC pipes, to produce the bricks.
Mm-hmm. That's quite interesting. We'll come and then get details of how all of that works out. But Cordy, you've also been doing something with the plastics. Tell us what you've been doing, how you also decided to go into this.
Great. So I founded Environment 360 in 2014. It's a Ghanaian-based NGO, and what we do is support communities into moving into circularity. We have a specific focus on women informal sector plastic waste collectors, such as Lydia. We've been working with them over the past few years to strengthen their business capacity so that we can increase their ability to collect plastic in communities, but also raise their incomes. In 2018, 2019, after running several programs, we realized that though the women's plastic collection is increasing, their incomes aren't increasing. And what we realized is that although collection is great, it's never really going to be enough to improve someone's livelihood, right? So what we did is in 2020, with funding from the Australian Direct Aid Program, we launched the Circular Innovation Hub. And essentially what we did is we brought in a modular recycling technology from Europe, and we're working with our women innovators, such as Lydia, to actually teach them how to make products and then match-make them with partners so that they have a value chain for the products that they're creating. So this way they're moving from collectors into innovators or small-scale recyclers in the circular economy.
So I'm particularly interested in what these women do and how they also contribute to the process. So what do they really do?
Yeah, so the women such as Lydia have been collecting plastic. I'm sure she'll tell you a little bit more about her story, but for about at least 2 or 3 years they've worked with Environment 360. They actually are the ones that provide the plastic. Most of our women collect PET. However, there's always a challenge of getting them to sort because PET is one of the lower value plastics. So when people get a PET bottle, they want to send you the bottle just like this, but when you're taking it to a recycler, you need to take the lid off as well as the rim. Low cost, people don't want to do it. The price for a kilogram of PET is about 80 pesos. So when you look at the amount of work it takes, people weren't willing. So we said, how can we take a fraction of the PET bottle, mainly the lid and the rim, turn it into a product where instead of selling it for maybe 2 cedis per kilogram, they actually are going to get 10 or 15 cedis out of the kilogram. Or really, most of our products, you can make 3 products. So for instance, when you're looking at a coaster, it takes about 0.33 kg of plastics. So if we sell a set of coasters, you're actually making about 45 Ghana cedis per kilogram. So when you look at that, it's something that significantly rises the income of individuals like Lydia and other innovators that we're working with.
You speak about collection and then how people were unwilling. People have had issues with how we segregate our waste. Do you see that challenge while these men collect the plastics?
So I think Lydia will probably be able to answer this a little bit more. From our side, like I said, we really build business capacity. So we're not the ones that actually do the collection. We empower the women and teach the women how to do collection routes, how to identify quality material, how to wash your material. We provide transportation for them to take it to the recycler. I do think segregation is a real challenge, but I think we have to applaud women like Lydia and the other innovators because they found a way to actually collect high quality plastic at source from individuals.
So let me come to Mommy Lydia. Mommy, tell me what you go through in collecting these plastics. Oh, no problem.
Oh, necessary. And you're doing here, say, obey my own heart, Koya, yes, she said gloves. Wash your nose mask. Now, yes, sir. If say a macro, you feel until if you say yes, son. A macro mati. So, person and now you knew fast well was until yes. To me, tonight, Mr. Sherry and Miss Shazi. To me, do baby, and I'm saying, you know, but no more power. To me, trust a message, my boy. I'm a boy, no, I do, baby. And I'm a bit for your chicken. I don't fear, see the toy. 27 years, I'm going to say also best Saturday. You depend on my chromoty. You're touching me, and my wish will be a man common.
But before I ever continue, we'll just go for a very quick break. We'll be back, and then she'll tell us what exactly she does, how she goes into picking the plastics, and then we'll get more from our guests. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. The program is still Washer. We're discussing how people are innovating, making innovations through plastic, the plastic waste that is littered all around us, how people are making different things through the plastics. You can join the conversation on 055-777-6429 on WhatsApp, 055-777-6429. You can also call in on 0260-969160, 026-0969160. We are discussing plastic, so if you have any comments, you can come in and share them with us. So we'll move back into the conversation with Auntie Lydia. Auntie Lydia, Antino, what's the sign we are? Yeah. Senior also boama environment ni clean no. I'm
manager pa. Manager.
Into what's the son saying? Na a swat to sing.
Me ya me wo mu die. This time on am lole kwan ho wo mu se gugu kwan ho bebre. except sorry anopa na yesim na yesisa sisa o baby kasi ameboa na wo ho no na baby ameboa no so mebo modern se na mammo emfa mpeti meboa no wo kurom so e ho ni na ye neat nti me area mu ho de me hu say plastic bottles no abafom na so at times so nam lole kwan ho abedu wo ho abedu no na bebre e shegotem.
Thank you very much. We'll come to Nelson. Nelson, now you have done something really wonderful with these plastics, having to build a whole, a whole building. How many plastics did you use to construct the building, and are people buying into the idea?
Okay, so 13,400 kilos of plastic waste.
That's like how many trucks?
That will be. Yeah, plenty trucks.
So I know, I think our Rhino on average can take 1 ton.
So
yeah, so it'd probably be about 13.
Yes, 13. But not one type of plastics.
Yes.
Yeah, not one type of plastic that we're using.
So while constructing, what did you do to the plastics to be able to get that building, that structure?
Okay, so we have the sand poly extruder, the cooling system, the mold, and the hydraulic press. These plastics will be, okay, first we have about 300 waste collectors, and mainly 98% of them are women. They go out to pick the plastic waste and sell back to us later the day. So we collect this, we scale these plastics and pay them according to the kilos they were able to collect a day. So the plastic will then be crushed and washed.
And let me just cut in. I'm sure you are showing some videos of what you have been doing with the plastic, so you can, our listeners or viewers can also be looking at what you have been doing with the plastics.
Okay. So the plastic will be crushed and washed and semi-dry. Then it will be mixed with sand, 70% of the sand and 30% of plastics. The reason being that we want the product to be fire retardant. If there are more plastic than the sand, that means when there's fire, the whole building will burn down easily. So, because of the sand percentage in high content, even if you set fire on it, it will burn very slow, just like our normal concrete block that we see around. So the mixture would then be fed into the extruder with 3 heating zones. The reason being that each type of plastics has a different melting point.
So you use the sachet water?
Sachet water, bottle. The bottle we use about 5% because of the PET. We don't, it's a PET type of plastics, and that needs a lot of energy to get it melted. And it dries very fast compared to the other type of plastic. So we use that one about 5%. But HDP type of plastics, LDP type PP, we use more of them. So when they travel through the heating zones, the propellers in the extruder ensures that the plastic is well mixed with the sand and they're melted. Then it comes out as a paste. The paste will be scaled for us to have a uniform size of bricks. Then it will be put in a mold with a cooling system around it. Then we press. So between 30 seconds to 60 seconds, we can inject one product out of the bricks.
So you form the bricks, and then it is used like the normal blocks that we use for building. Okay,
so the foundation is the same as the concrete concept, but after the foundation, that's the first concrete that you put on the ground. Then the first brick that goes on the concrete receives mortar. Then we leave it for about 5 days. Then when we come back, we don't need cement anymore. We just interlock them using the male and female ends.
And you have male and female ends. How do you determine that?
Oh, because like Papa Mama, it fused together, family, and you cannot even push it easily to get it.
So you don't even have to mix any mortar to be using like a normal building. You just fix them inside.
You only need mortar when the first brick is on the foundation concrete. Then you leave it for 5 days for it to get well dry. Then when you come back the 6th day, you just need your hammer to interlock them to the top.
Is that not an expensive venture?
It's very easy. The house that you saw was not built by professionals. Even though we follow the course, we consulted architects so that we get our structures right. School children help in building this. That tells you that it's easy to build with and less expensive.
So are people buying into the concept of using them? Do you get orders from people to be constructing such buildings for them?
The response from clients is very, very high, and the demands is very high for us at the moment.
So even if I bring mine, you can't?
Oh, I can do it, but we have time schedules for each client. Like for now, when you come in, we will be giving you, let's say, between 5 to 7 months to complete the house. But ideally, that house is just 72 days. If the materials are ready on site, in 72 days, you should be able to put up one building, one bedroom self-contained.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Plastics that our innovators have created. It should be known that currently we're working with certain types of molds, so we're mainly into coasters, mini pots, we make an Afro comb. We also do some beads where we make bracelets and other things. The key, I think, for us is that we don't want to become a product designer. We look at partnering with individuals that say, hey, you know, I'm interested in contracting you to look at my value chain and make this product to sell into this market. So for us, the design process actually starts with identifying the correct partner. Once we identify that partner, then they let us know what they want to create. We then work with our engineers to go ahead and develop that template. And then when the women are coming through the Innovation Hub training program, we actually teach them to design that product for the partner, contracted by that partner. So it ensures that not only are you getting a machine, but you're also getting a source of viable income with that machine. One key thing about this is that everything doesn't necessarily revolve around the Circular Innovation Hub. So we actually train the women to design as well, because we don't want them to be reliant on the partners that are coming through the hub. The goal is that once you have the machine, yes, you have a subcontract that will help you pay back the machine, but we want you to be innovators and creators and designers in your own right. We want you to go into your communities and figure out other things that you can make, and then even create your own line of products that you can find your market for and sell it. So this particular innovation is quickly scaled. It creates a lot of job opportunity, particularly for youth and other individuals, and there's no limit, because when you look at Ghana actually imported $489 million in plastic in 2019, according to Comtrade. So even if we get a fraction of that and start making some of these products locally, it goes to show that the economic opportunity for individuals like Lydia and youth, I mean, it's exponential.
Now, you mentioned Ghana importing some amount of plastics into the country. You have a lot of plastics littered around. Are they not enough for what you do?
It is. EPA has actually noted that of these plastics being imported, more than 90% actually end up as litter. And a large part of it is because when you look at the activities that have been going around the past 5 years, they focus on collection and not innovation. So, for instance, Environment 360 created the first successful plastic collection scheme for communities that's been recognized by MESTI. But what happened is, though we were able to build out the market, it seems everybody spurred on the collection end. To see someone like Nelson that's in innovation, or to see women like Lydia or the Circular Innovation Hub, there aren't enough innovators in the plastic waste space. Everybody is focused on collection. Everybody is focused on being an aggregator, maybe doing some small processing such as washing or flaking, but there's not enough individuals that are developing locally driven solutions, which is surprising, because Ghana's whole National Plastic Action Partnership Plan actually is focusing in on circular solutions. So hopefully, as this plan really starts being implemented within the next 3 years or so, really next 1 to 3 years, you will see more people finding creative uses of plastic, but we have to move beyond collection.
Now, Nelson, while speaking, said that he had a number of women who had contributed to what he does. Auntie has also spoken about the number of women, but what particularly is the role they play? How many women do you have at your end at Environment 360 working and innovating?
So it should be noted that there are different types of waste pickers. So you have your landfill waste pickers, which are mainly men, but then you have your community waste pickers, which are mainly women. And these community waste pickers essentially are going to make up more than probably 70% of the collection force in communities. They also are really critical because they are the ones that continue to drive what is happening at the bottom level. However, a lot of times they don't have access to finance and transportation. Environment 360 focuses on working with those women waste pickers and helping them build sustainable businesses. So for us, our goal is to move you from collector into a higher position. Or even if you want to collect, how can we help you improve your business so that you're collecting more? So when we look at the average return of one of our women, some of them have increased their income up to 40%, right, through the training provided by Environment 360 and our other partners such as GIZ. But our goal is to how can we move them up the value chain. As Nelson mentioned, most people have a sort of carry-go policy. So you sell per kilogram, you take your money and you go. Environment 360 tries to move past that and really help these women own businesses and create businesses that are impactful in the fight against plastic waste.
And how many of them have you moved up to the ladder of owning businesses?
So we've actually just started getting them to own businesses. The first, our past 4 years have mainly been focused on getting them to strengthen their leadership capacity. We know that there's a variety of unique needs of women. A lot of times education might have been a hurdle, marriage or divorce. You also have children. So our thing is, how do we build confidence? How do we teach them leadership skills? How do we teach them how to build groups that they can actually work in? How do we actually get them to negotiate prices with buyers so that they improve their confidence? And now we are just now getting into a phase where now we are moving them actually up the value chain. So our first innovators, we have a group of 7 women that we're working with. However, through a partnership that we recently acquired, we will be training 150 women to support growth in plastic collection businesses and ensure that they have registered businesses at the end of the training.
Now, from my readings, Ghana, we also have a challenge of having about 1.1 million tons of plastic waste each year. From what you do, how much of a reduction are your innovations contributing to the plastic waste problem? Are your innovations reducing the challenge, and how far are they going?
So, looking at the percentage that Ghana is the number of tons that waste Ghana is generating, and the percentage at which we are doing the recycling is very scary. Because 5%, that means we are doing nothing. But we as innovators, we are doing our part. We cannot just relax and say, oh, we are doing less, so this won't take us anywhere.
Because we don't have enough innovators, or people are just not interested, or they have hurdles when they want to go into that innovation using plastics.
It's a big challenge when you try to go into plastic collection, recycling, and maybe come up with some product from the collected plastics. It's a big challenge. Like me, for instance, when I started, it was really hard. Even one mold cost more than 70,000 Ghana cedi. You have to do it, try. So I think the main challenge here is most people get scared entering into plastic business, like coming up with a product, whether they will buy it or not. We, for instance, now our competitors are the cement producers. Look how big they are. Look at us. If the government is to buy into what we're doing, maybe using our product in some part, it will encourage more others to join and to fight the problem of plastic waste in Ghana. But if you are doing all these things and we don't have even a contract, or we don't even have some sort of partnership with the government to use the product, I don't think most of the youth will be encouraged to join the race. So I think that has been the challenge.
So then there's that lack of a relationship between what you do, or your organization or your institution, and the ministries or government. They don't seem to be buying into your ideas.
Oh, no, not that they don't buy my idea. MESTI has been very supportive of what we are doing. What I mean is, most of the contract or most of the construction work that we have, I believe that they should incorporate the product that we are bringing up to maybe sidewalks, or to encourage others to join, because I believe Ghanaians, when they know this is going well, there is cash in it, most of them will join, and whilst they joining, we are eventually taking out the plastic waste. I alone can't fight the plastic waste. Kodia can't do it alone. We need more people to join to fight the problem of plastic waste. So the government even, okay, let's say this sidewalk, we give you the contract, pay with plastic bricks only. When other youths see what we're doing, they will also be encouraged to join and also fight the problem of plastic waste. But if there are no such deals with the government, even though we have our private people.
Some of the things you've done, the plastic, what you've done with the plastics, the moving of the bricks, and then the walkway. The
floors are also made up of plastic waste, but with that, it's 40% plastics. Yeah, because that we don't believe. We actually believe that heavy cars will be driving on it. So the more you add the plastics in a correct proportion, you get the strength of the brick being very high than even the concrete one that we have. So the government needs to incorporate some of our works or some of our products in its contracts to encourage others, because the more they buy into the product, the more plastic waste will be taken from the environment. But if only the private, it doesn't really, what do you call it? It doesn't really encourage others to join in than the government itself coming in. Hey, plastic is a problem. Let's use part of this product, or let's use part of the contract mainly for plastic paving and other things. Yeah.
But I'm going to ask you another question based on what you said, but let me announce our lines again. You can join the conversation on WhatsApp on 0557 776 0557 747 6429. You can also call in on 0260 969160, 0260 969160. Now you are saying that you want government to incorporate what you do, as in give you contracts to at least, even if there's a construction of pavements. But do you have the capacity? If you are given that, do you have the capacity?
That is, once we are seeing that plastic is the problem, there should be some steps in fighting it. Collection alone, like Kodia said, doesn't solve the problem. There should be a second life for that collected plastics. The reason I'm saying government is, if people get to know that government is also using this product, that means Ghanaians like following like some pattern. Like if the government is using for payments, people, oh, then it's good. We are dealing with private people. Government is also doing it best. MESTI is supporting us, but our product being incorporated in the contracts that being like sidewalks will also tell the people that no, these plastics, they are not just waste. They can be used for something beneficial. They wouldn't even litter. They will rather keep it, bring it to us, we buy. People will join in. Oh, Nelson, we've trained this number of people. They've also set up the same plant, maybe in Kumasi, in other parts of Ghana. That will help fight the problem of plastic waste, to my side. But I'm not necessarily saying the government should give me contract, no. The government should take the first steps, because they always talk about plastic waste. They should take the first step. That is what I mean.
I see Auntie Norden.
Oh, near Canada, no. Just a one say. say abandon who shame one. Young fan say lolly coins on pavement now, my lolly coin, and as I call the plastic we blocks ya. Obi a twa ma se na ni tua. Obi say we are plastic. We are nya normal we na omo dey pavement ni ni. Obi say we are plastic. Enti abema nipa abaso, nipa ni abaso. Na omo ato na yenso adwuma na etumi aye nkoso. Na amba ne sa na se kakra na ayeye na de. Obi mpo hu fa so we adwuma na ayeye ne so. If say yenya ayeye ni nim na ayeye. Wo ye obi gina kire o say ne awoye no fa so ni so. So enti say otumi sa pavement we blocks ye na say lolly kwan ho kura keke me road ni nchen ne say de ayeye ya obi na obi say na plastic in fa so so. Ti be ma ni pe ni abre no mo do mo ho asem na ma o man ni what.
Now, what do you want to add on? We share in his view.
So I think Nelson has hit a lot of key points when it comes to, one, incentivizing the collection of plastic. I think now it's not a very attractive thing for youth or really most people to do. And it's because the income is very low. I know at the Circular Innovation Hub, we've targeted a goal of 100 metric tons this year. And how we've broken it down is that we plan on training 20 women, and those 20 women should be able to at least process 5 tons of plastic throughout the year. I think that there's always inherent challenges when getting government to do something innovative. Traditionally, government nowhere are innovators. Before I moved to Ghana, I actually worked for Congress. You just don't see innovation coming from policy typically, or innovation coming from government. But Nelson is right. When you're looking at doing something like blocks, you do need government or policy support. I think the beauty of what the Circular Innovation Hub is doing is that we sort of take a different approach. We want to partner with private sector. If you notice our molds and everything, they're very simple molds, right? So we are producing products that literally we can train someone to do and have them up and trained within the next 3 weeks to operate. We estimate that for every innovator we train, they'll actually create 10 different jobs, at least collection jobs, and we estimate that they'll create 5 technical jobs. So this means people to help them run the machines, people to help take the plastic out of the molds, people to help finish the product, because when it comes out, there's sometimes rough edges, other things, you need to smooth it off. So our goal is, how can we connect with private sector and get this technology that we're localizing into the hand as many people as possible, and then get those people trained on how to design and make products so that in the next 5 years, we're talking about collecting 10,000 metric tons of plastic. But in order to do this, as Nelson said, he himself, even if the government orders right now, like he mentioned, he already has a weight. He's not asking for government to give him all of the contracts. He's asking to support the innovation so that it can spur other collectors and other support like him, and maybe he moves into training for his blocks and his intellectual property to ensure that what he's created is actually being scaled, right? But he can't scale and do that when it hasn't been approved by Ghana Standards Authority, right? So his innovation, it is really difficult to scale without the support of government. And I think that this is why in the plastic action policy, they're looking at a variety of innovations. They're looking at things like the Innovation Hub that can be done quickly to address areas, because, mind you, the machine we use is also modular. I mean, it literally weighs less than, I think, 10 kg. I don't even think it weighs 10 kg. It means that it can easily be put into rural communities where there is no waste management system. A lot of times we focus in on Accra, but we need to realize Ghana is not Accra. And when you start visiting these northern parts or these eastern parts, you see a lot of plastic litter as well.
Cordia, here we have a caller on the line. Hello, caller. Hello. Hello, can you hear me? Well, unfortunately, he cannot hear me. But we'll go for a quick break. We'll be back, and then we'll be discussing some of the challenges apart from these ones you've mentioned, some of the challenges you faced in dealing with these plastic and coming up with these innovations. We'll be back shortly after this break.
It's a smoldering hot afternoon in Ashaiman, one of the most densely populated parts of Accra. This urban slum is a low-income community with a large housing deficit and inadequate access to sanitation services. As a result, it has some of the highest population levels in the country. On top of that, Ashaiman faces problems of high youth unemployment combined with low income levels, which inevitably leads to crime and other social problems. Unsurprisingly, it's the women and children that are worst affected. A recent UNDP study revealed that Ghana alone generates 1 million tons of plastic waste annually, of which only 2 to 5% are ever recycled. A staggering 23% ends up in the sea, with another 28% on land in gutters and drains. At Nelplast, we're helping to solve the problem of plastic waste pollution by reclaiming as much waste as possible, transforming them into useful products. Our network of over 300 informal waste pickers, 90% of whom are women from low-income communities, scour the city on a daily basis on our behalf. We pay for the waste they deliver to us by the kilo. The plastic waste we receive is then washed, shredded, mixed with fine sand and pigments, and heated at high temperatures in a polymer sand extruder machine that we developed through years of research and iteration at Nelplast. The resulting paste is then cast into a mold with a hydraulic press and cooled to derive the final.
The program is Tell Wash. Now you just saw videos of how Nelson picks up the plastics and then how the processes that they go through. So before we get to more of the challenges, any of you can answer this. Okay, I'm told you have a caller on the line. Before we get there, let's take the caller. Hello, caller. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Please, where are you calling from? Your name?
Yes, Pinterest.
Okay. Please make your point.
Yeah, I'm watching everything on TV concerning the plastic you need to construct the material. Yeah, so, like, I want you to show us some of the things that you use the plastic to build so that you know what is going on. Like you are talking, we are not seeing actual things that you are being able to do.
Okay, so I've heard you, but we've been showing the building that he used the plastics to build. Maybe you've been watching the program. We've been showing excerpts of what he has done with the plastics, but I've heard you, I'm sure my producers will take notes and then give you some more pictures or images of what he has been using the plastics for. Thank you very much for calling. Okay, so do you anticipate a time where there will be enough education on the need to clean the environment, get the plastics off the environment? Because we seem to have a lot of people who still do not understand this challenge you have with the plastics, and they keep littering with the plastics.
I think this is twofold. I think the waste management system is broken in the ideology that it's set up. I think we have a polluter pay system, which essentially says that when you create trash, you should pay for it. But when you look at the economic levels and unemployment levels, it's really like squeezing water from a stone. So you can't expect someone that makes 250 Ghana cedis a month to pay 40 Ghana cedis for trash disposal when they have to pay for their room, when they have to pay for the toilet.
Unfortunately, I need to cut you. Now here's another caller from Nkoko. Hello, caller.
Yeah, hello,
Good evening.
My name is Pedro. I wanted to know how to just local invent supporting for people who correct
Well, unfortunately, I can hardly hear you. I can't hear you clearly. So please do want to call us again, and then we'll take your comments and then try and then answer them for you. I'll have a few messages here. There's one that says they would like to ask, with the recycling of the plastic, doesn't it cause air pollution? And if it doesn't cause air pollution, do they check PM 2.5? I don't know what that is, but even if you...
I think it's the pollution matrix for the air.
Yeah.
So for Environment 360, our particular innovation is quite small. It's not a large machine, so it actually doesn't emit. I think it should also be known that typically recycling 1 ton of plastic actually saves 4.1 tons of carbon. So that's the carbon offset. So sometimes it's the lesser of the two evils. Yes, you might have some rise in some air pollution, but when you look at the actual carbon offset and the saving of resources, the benefits of recycling far outweigh the pollution. But once again, this also comes down to how well is the regulatory body on making sure factories are compliant with their...
So before then, you have another caller from Northeast. Joe, can you hear me?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Joe.
Yeah, I'm calling from Northeast.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to suggesting that if government have to do some things across the nation, that will have this rate product, especially the regional factor. It will also speak to service of employment that I do. I think that will be a good suggestion.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Joe, for your comment. Thank you very much. Now,
can I hit some point on the problem why people? So we, for instance, we receive a lot of plastics than what we can use. Sometimes, like for example, we are here, we are talking about plastic, how people shouldn't litter around. Now, when these collectors bring this plastic to us, and the place is like our limit, we tell them to take it back. What are we telling them? That is not useful, so they should throw it away. Nobody would throw his cooking utensils, especially the aluminum one, away. Why? Because there's value for it. People, they are ready to buy it.
Okay.
So if we have if we have maybe enough machine and we don't turn these plastics away, it tells the people that this
it can be used.
It can be used, and they don't just throw it away.
Okay. So our last caller is on the line. I'll just take him. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes, you're on. Please, you can go ahead.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be watching this program, and I want to applaud all your panel for what they're doing. It seems like there are 3 or 4 things that possibly we can do to even help ourselves. The first is education of the populace. They need to learn to keep our environment clean. If we can help to people realize that they need to keep their environment clean, that would be a good step. After all, you don't throw sachet around in your own house, so why should you do it outside? My second point is the government, and waiting for government to help. It's like waiting, I don't know, we're waiting for something forever, because government does not seem to be interested in getting involved in what would help the country, especially when it comes to waste.
So we don't have so much time, so if you can just be rounding up for me, I'll be grateful.
I'm sorry, you said?
I'm saying that we are almost, the time is almost up, so if you could just be rounding up for me, I'll be grateful.
Certainly I will.
Okay.
Okay. Private citizenry can probably help too in getting involved in some of these programs. And my last point is, can plastics combined with other substances like tires be used to help build our roads? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments. So our time is almost up, so give us your final words.
Police, you know, near Oma Buano, I fina ya buano no mudija too, and then I do we see the Korea Munu. Naya dear Naya Nan dear, we see be improved.
Okay, noted.
Okay, so what I wrap up with is plastics is never the problem, like I always say. It's we the human who are the problem. For littering around, if the people see that there's no value, or we ourselves don't value the plastics, the littering will continue and we'll always have the problem. We'll always come back to the problem, talking about it over and over again.
Well, Nelson, grateful. Cody?
So I would also like to say, I think the last caller touched it on the head. As much as we rely on government, we need to realize that private citizens actually are going to drive this innovation. You need to be able to support products like bricks, like things coming from the Circular Innovation Hub that are made from recycled plastic. The greater the consumer market is, the faster these innovations actually scale. So we shouldn't underestimate the role that private citizens can play in driving innovation.
Well, we are grateful for your time. Aunt Lydia, do you have any final words?
Oh, near me can try to only say. Emmabawa, any mrantie. Our munya jumebia. No money no crumuya near me fata bokrono. A coming quan common form of wisdom. No more more common no more.
Thank you very much. That's Aunt Lydia. She's with Environment 360. We've also had Cordy Aziz now. She's Executive Director, Environment 360. And Mr. Nelson Boateng, Managing Director and CEO, Nelplast Ghana Limited. Now, this has been an interesting conversation with my guest and our viewers on the show. We'll draw the curtain on today's edition. Do make a time with us next week with another edition. Same time and same channel. Remember, plastic is a necessary resource, but plastic waste can also be useful if we treat it right. I am Doreen Nampo for Stay clean and stay safe.